Sorry. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I just realized my mic was muted. Good to have you again on Finding Up with Special Needs. I want to welcome everyone that is already online and those of us that will be joining pretty soon. I believe you're going to be joining me pretty soon. There's so much to learn today. Welcome to everyone on YouTube, on Facebook, on Academy website. It's going to be a wonderful time of learning today. I'm always so excited on finding up with special needs. I'm always super excited. So I am still Lola Aneke. The name never changes, and it's not going to change. And it's still finding up with special needs. It's episode 34. Wow, 34 episodes. We couldn't have gone this far. I don't think finding up with special needs would have gone this far without every one of you. And I want to especially appreciate you for your time. Sunday evenings are times that people want to just rest and get ready for the new week, working week. But every week in, week out, I see you all. Thank you. Somebody said it's like a classroom, we all come to learn. I'm excited. I'm super thankful to you all for choosing to spend your evening, Sunday evenings, learning with me on finding up with special needs. Like I always say, I don't know it all. Our guests, we have professionals that come in to educate us, and we're all here to learn together, okay? So I always say it's a time to learn, relearn, and unlearn. Anyhow you want to put those three words, all that matters is that we're learning. So I hope you have your pens and your book like I always do every week to learn. And above all, it's not just about learning. Remember, several weeks ago, we talked about an hashtag that says, I will not keep quiet. We can't keeping quiet after learning so much. The next thing is the action we need to do. We need to advocate for individuals with special needs and disabilities. We need to not just advocate, create awareness. We need to put into practice all that we have learned. And today is another good day to learn. I want to welcome particularly Joan Caesar, Sunday Precious, Ozioma Ike, and for everyone that will join in afterwards, because sometimes we get so engrossed in the discussion that we forget to thank you. You truly matter. Cassandra Mbata, I see you. Thank you for joining in. There's so much for us all to learn, and we're going to take it straight away. I have my professionals in-house who will be talking to us about today's topic, which is special needs, art, and animal assisted therapy. Sorry, special needs. I'll take that again. Special needs, art, and animal assisted therapy. It's such a beautiful topic, a combination of super um, profession. I think I should call it that. Animal assisted therapy research has been ongoing, and in developed countries, it has really helped a lot of individuals. In Nigeria, luckily for us, we have the pioneer of the animal assisted therapy in Nigeria. So it's going to be telling us a lot of things about animal assisted therapy. And of course, we have our very own beat god. Okay, it's in the house. I'll be bringing them up pretty soon. But I want you to please, let's all learn together. Show in your questions. They're more than happy to answer it. Let's learn and let's go out there to make the world a better place for individuals with special needs and disability. I'm not going to speak beyond all that I've said right now, and I'm going to invite in my guests to the studio. I'm sure they're waiting patiently for us all to learn together. So I bring in my first guest. Dr. Sunday is in the house, and
Hello.
Victor is in the house. Hello, Dr. Sunday.
Hello, Lola
Hello, Big
Aneke. Good
God.
afternoon.
Okay, let me first ask, Beat God, this beat on your neck, is it
Hello.
just for beat gods alone or people that cause that are not beat gods? We can have our own copy, our own piece of necklace, because you're always having different ones at different times.
Can you please say that again, please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes. So you didn't answer my question. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get a beat. I was admiring your
The
beat that
line is a
every
little
time I
bad.
see you on Facebook, you either want beat
Oh,
or the
this.
other. You're the beat god. But then I'm saying I hope
Yeah.
I get to get a piece one of these days, or maybe one of our participants could be lucky enough to
Of
get a, a bead as a
of
gift.
course, of course,
Thank
of
you.
course.
I trust you. You'll be so
I'm planning
generous.
to
I'm
see
going to
my
what you're
body.
doing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Sunday, you're welcome.
Thank you too. You'd
You're
see me
Thank you
next.
welcome.
I'm
very
putting
much
a
for
book
having
next
me.
year.
You're welcome. All of your beautiful dogs. I can't say I want one because I already have one. And I know what it takes to take care of dogs.
I can
Well done. You're
imagine.
welcome to the show. You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
So
Thank you
everyone,
for
I've been
having
looking
me.
forward to having you. Like I said to you earlier,
Yeah.
I received quite a lot of number of emails saying, "Oh, we've always wanted to know the association between children with special needs and animals." And of course, we know that art therapy is therapeutic for children with special needs. And today, everyone has gathered to hear you, school us, so to say, let me use the word school us on the benefit of these two animal therapy and art therapy, the benefits to children with special needs. So I'll let Dr. Sunday go first. Please introduce yourself to us, Dr. Sunday.
Okay, so good day, everyone. Depending on, I would have said good evening for our time here, but then depending on where you are, good day. Sorry, electricity just
It's
went off.
fine.
I think.
It's okay. You don't have to apologize. We're in Nigeria.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Sunday Agbonika. I'm a veterinary surgeon. I'm a husband, a father, and I founded Collars and Paws Limited, which is a veterinary company. I as well founded Dogalove, which is the part of our work that really does all of this. And I'm also a 2019 Mandela Washington Fellow. What that means, in essence, is the U.S. government, the U.S. Department of State, invested in myself and a lot of others, trying to help us build our capacity based on what we do that they heard about and they loved and all of that. So, in a nutshell, let me leave it there for now and then continue from there later on.
Thank you. I know you're doing such a great job, and I know you partner with a lot of organizations. You share some of those of your great work with us as we proceed in the program. Thank you so
Yes.
much for joining us this evening. I know, like I keep saying, everyone wants to rest on Sunday, but I want to truly appreciate you for choosing to spend your evening with us here today. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunday. Now,
Thank you
bid
very much.
gods. I know I said I don't know bid God's name, but I don't think I would have been good for me to say let's know your name, but it's your choice if you want us to know. But I think bid God suits you. It suits you so well. So bid God,
Anyone
over to you.
hardly
Please
does.
introduce yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
I want to be sure you can. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, like you said, Beat God. The funny part is, I didn't even name myself. One of my kids named me Beat God. Um, there's somewhere in the Riverine area in Bielsa. I go for one of my, like I told you, I move around a lot. I art to doorsteps of the kids. They cannot come. So I take my art to their doorsteps, making it accessible to them. So there's somewhere I go to in Bielsa, and then it was during the raining season. So I had to stay on the mainland. Normally, I go with canoe or speedboats. So after like 2 weeks, I didn't visit that orphanage home. It's an orphanage home for kids with disabilities. So there's just one little girl. I think she was about 12 years old. So she kept asking of me so she didn't know my name. But because I teach them beads, she was asking the owner, the woman that runs the orphanage, that where is Bead God? That's how that name came about. So that's how
Wow.
Bead God was born.
Is
So
this
she kept
individual, is
asking.
this child living with special
So that's
needs
how
or
I
not?
got.
This child that gave you the name, is it just a
Yes, the
neurotypical
special
child
needs.
or a
An
child with,
orphanage.
you see, you
Yes,
see,
it's
our
an
children
orphanage.
are, and look at how
She's
far
yes.
that name has taken you. You have to go back and you need to pay her. I think
That
you need to go back and tell her thank you for that beautiful name and probably
I
an honorarium for that.
mm, I should be paying royalties.
Royalty,
I should
yes.
be paying royalties. I should be paying royalties to her.
Yes, you should.
Yes,
I think you should.
very day on till today. Most times when they
Yeah.
ask me to write my name, believe me, I just write Big God. I forget sometimes I don't remember my real name. I just write Big God on everything. You know, like
Wow. And
like
it,
last
it
year
suits
too.
you really.
That's where it was so crazy and so funny. Last year I was with the Lagos State governor last year. He invited me over, and then when I came in, I said, "Okay, what's your name?" I said, "Big God." He said, "No, your real name." I said, "Okay, sorry, sir, Moses." But he said, "Yes, I know. That's people that got me to. They didn't know your name. They just called Big God, and that's how they introduced you to me." I said, "Oh, okay." So
But we are good with beat
it's
God.
taking
I,
over
I
in
don't
my
think I'll
head
be able
and
to
all that.
remember Moses as much as
Anyway,
I remember beat God. Good to have you. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you,
So I'll
thank you
still
very
I'll still talk to you and beat God. So why art?
okay.
And can you tell us your journey and why you're doing what you're doing? We always ask that question week in, week out, so we can
Okay,
understand what you do and why you're doing what you're doing.
yeah, okay. I'm going to shock you first of all that I did not study art in school. I didn't say art in school. I
Wow.
knew nothing about art. I I graduated and then I volunteered. I volunteer for community schools, just teach them government, literature, history, English. And then I stumbled upon an orphanage home, children with special needs. And there was nothing I could teach them from government, history, literature, English. And I knew I had to impact something to these kids. That's how I founded myself into arts. I had to pick
I
up.
believe you're
I went
gifted because all of the work you're
to
doing,
learn
did you
skills. I
have
went to
to
learn
go to
art. I
school
paid
at some
serious.
point?
No, no, no.
Oh my
I
God.
just wanted something I could teach these kids. I ran into the orphanage home and I knew that I couldn't teach these kids government. I couldn't teach them literature. I couldn't teach them history. I couldn't teach them English. That's all I knew then. But I was very good with my hands. I could pick up a TV and break it down and reassemble stuff like that. And I felt, okay, I think the only way these kids could benefit from it
Interesting.
is teaching them art. And that was how it started. That was how
Wow.
it started. I became an artist because I wanted to help kids with special. That's how my art journey started. I started traveling from state to state, community to community, teaching kids anything I could learn. Along the way, I go somewhere, I go to computer shops, I do like a 2 month course, I go to tailoring shops, I do a 2 month program just for me to pick it up and go teach them.
Oh
So
wow.
I was also coming up, and before you knew it, I was coming up with different ideas, and my head was so filled up. It was stuck, So it was strictly beads I could make. But before you knew it, the beads started becoming too, I started going so wide to the extent that I went for a competition back to back in Holland and I won back to back twice.
In Holland, did you say
I won the
Holland?
competition twice. They say it had never happened. Nobody had won it. Yes, yes. So they said nobody had won that competition back to back, and I did it. I did it back to back 3 times. So, and they said, please don't come again. You're taking everything we have here. So it was crazy.
You have a
It was
student.
crazy. I was,
I'm applying to
I
your
was so,
school.
I was so good. I was so good with my beads that I did so many crazy things with beads. I broke into the art world and then I had to keep doing things. So, but whatever I wanted to do, I had to break it down to an extent that a child with disability could pick it.
Okay.
So if I wasn't getting it, I wasn't satisfied. Whatever I want to teach, if a child with a disability, a child with special needs, not pick them, grabs it. So and I started going all over Nigeria, all over. Every year from January to say April, I do a tour. I visit about 60 communities,
Hmm.
and in those communities, I go to rural areas, the rural community thing. So because I know they can't come to the city. So every year from January to April, I do that tour. I pick 50, 60 communities and go to orphanage homes there, disability centers, youth development centers, widows centers. I just pick those and I just take a trip, new places, people, teaching people, just making myself and them happy. It makes it look good. So that's been the
Wow.
journey so far. Community schools all over the western areas and some of the areas. I don't miss it. I go to community
Wow.
schools,
Wow.
on a
Wow. Wow.
uh,
With
a
God,
week,
I
a
really
week
don't know how you do it, but
alone,
I can
two
I
weeks,
can
2 months.
attest to the fact that
You know. So that's how it's been. I move around, and then by June, I use my disabilities as models. And we had the show. We had 8 kids with special needs were employed at different fashion homes and these magazines and all that. They were used as models. And then time we run the fashion show, we invite big fashion houses, magazines, and all that. So they see the kids they want to. So their own way of, because I preach inclusion, I create awareness. That's my major strong point. Creating awareness about disabilities, letting people know what it is. It's not something that you just look at it or touch the person and you get it. And also, I preach a lot of times. I do some of my workshops. All my workshops are always free. But for the workshops, we bring in kids from private schools, kids from community schools, kids from orphanage homes, then kids from disability centers. That's the only way I can preach my own inclusion. That's the way I know how to. So I let those children know that look at that. She's on a wheelchair. Doesn't mean she's bad or so they get to mix, they become friends, and their parents exchange numbers. You know,
hmm,
December every year too, I have a camp that I host for men with disabilities. I hold a 2 weeks camp for women with disabilities, and I bring in women from all profession of life to come talk to them. So each woman that comes to talk to them, she picks a girl or a woman and becomes her mentor, becomes her body. You say you have to bond. So for life, you have to keep talking to that girl. We're not saying give her money. We're not saying just make sure you check up on her once in a while. If she has a problem, she knows she can call you. Most times those girls could not talk to people around them and all that. So we do that, the bonding and mentoring camp. We hold that every December, and I create mentors for these girls. A lot of them, so because they need people to talk to. So and it's been a success so far. You know,
wow.
that's just how we got
I
into
can
it.
I
And
can like I said
14 years down
earlier
the
on, I
line,
can attest.
I didn't know how I got.
Wow. Wow. Great job, with God. Great job. Great job. Whenever people speak to me, I like to listen
Thank you.
and pick some nuggets. I like the fact that you mentioned that you never studied art in any way, like you didn't study it. But when you were done with school, with your first degree, you found yourself in a
I never.
place where you felt what I had to offer would not benefit these individuals. What can I do? You remind me of the audio book. What's in your hand? It can be used. And I see a lot of people calling me, oh, Mr. Lai, I didn't study
Yes.
special needs. Oh, I didn't do. What can I do? And I'm like, what do you think you can do? Because I can't impose anything on you. And that just answered the question for me. You have to think, what can I do to help these children? People will come, I want to volunteer. And I'm like, so what do you want to do? Oh, I'm not sure. What you've said to me now, for everyone listening, you just heard it from the horse's mouth. He did not study art. And if you go to Beat God's page, when I saw those pictures, I had to do a month. Normally, I don't do that, but like I had to do a montage, and I was hoping that you tell us about, how art is, performing art, and all of those things, put us through everything, and but I think we're going to go there, really. But I see passion also. I see passion because I wanted to ask you, do you have a team? Because I know I see you a lot. I'm like, who are on this guy? This energy is too much. Do you have a team? Who is on your team? How do you get to move all around different parts of Nigeria from January to April? And then you have
I
another
don't have
mission
a team.
from
I don't have.
April to June and all of that.
It's just me. It's just me.
Just
Just
you.
me.
Like
Yeah.
I said to you, you have a
Just
student.
me.
I'm coming. You're going to mentor
Yes.
me.
Sometimes.
And then I like what you do also, inclusion. You bring other children from different
Yes.
from special needs centers, from private schools, government schools, and you exhibit the strength of individuals with special needs. What better way can we actually talk about inclusion than us showing the positive sides of these children or this
Yes.
individual? And the one that blew my
Okay.
mind the most is,
Yes.
people believe that when it comes to children with special needs, all they need is hands down. Just give them something. I remember an organization that Abuja here called me, and they said to me like 2 years ago, "Oh, it's Children's
Wow.
Day. We want to have a party and want the children to come, and we just want to give them food." Like the way they were saying, I said, "We just want them to come." So it's like a charity case. And I said to them, "No, they're going to come in
Uh,
and
no.
you're not going to put them on one side. You're not going to just give them food. I want them to be a part of everything you're doing, from the water plate to. So we don't want a pity party. No, so that mentorship, because
Yeah.
it's not enough to say we're teaching them arts and craft. We're teaching them probably how to use how animals can help them. But that self-confidence, that self-esteem, knowing that the future holds great things for them, they've seen other people
Yes.
do it and it's possible for them, goes a long way for them too. I don't know the best way to thank you, but I know I'm a believer that God is ultimate rewarder. You will be rewarded. You will, because I look at you and like, who sponsor? How do you get sponsorship? This all you traveling. I know what it is to travel. I travel, so I know what it means to travel. How do you accommodate yourself? How do you get
I don't.
resources you use?
I don't.
And all
I
of
don't.
this is all you for free. You will be rewarded. And for
I have.
everyone listening out there, you're looking
I
for
have
ways
some.
to support individuals. Tell me. We can't hear you, Big
I have
God.
friends like the likes of Mrs. Akonde. You know her. Those are people that believe in what they do. The likes of Mrs. Akonde, AVM, Badebo. Those ones don't even play with my work. I have a project, I can't even run it. They tell me, don't worry. Mrs. Akonde even fought with me. I go to her school and teach. She told me not to come to her school anymore unless I allow her to pay me. And I said, no, you can't pay me. I'm doing it for free. I'm doing it for everybody for free. I'll do the same. Yeah. That
Okay,
she
so I'm
feels like
struggling
she's
hearing.
cheating
I'm
me. I said,
struggling to
madam, you're
hear
not
you,
cheating
Big
me.
God.
I came here.
I want our audience, our listeners, to please type.
Okay.
We can hear him. If you can hear him clearly, so that you can get value from today's session, today's program. So if you can hear him, type "I can hear him," so that we can know if to adjust the volume, because I'm struggling to hear him. Doctor, can you hear Big God clearly?
Yeah, that's
I can hear, but not too clearly.
Okay. So Big God, please speak louder. You may have
oh,
to
okay.
shout. I'm sorry.
Okay. I think I'll just
Yeah, you
raise
may
the
have to
mic
shout.
close.
Yeah,
Exactly.
please do that. We don't mind.
Okay, I will. I'll do that. Can you hear me now? Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yes.
a lot
All
clearer.
right. Thank you. I'll do that loudly. Okay.
Well
So
done. Well
so
done.
like I said, I
Well
have a
done.
couple of friends that really believe in what I do. The likes of the likes of Mrs. Akonde, the lady that has the first autism center in Nigeria. So people like that, they don't even joke with my work. At a point, Mrs. Akonde fought with me because I refused her paying me a salary. I go to her school and volunteer. She got angry with me that I refused her to pay me. I said, madam, you can't pay me. It's my volunteer. When you start paying me, it loses value. What I do, it loses value. Just tell me
True.
thank you and I'm okay. So we ended up her
Uh,
making sure she gives me transport fare anytime I come to her center. So people like that, the way they appreciate me alone, it's a crazy motivation. Like, how do you do this? You should be paid. I'm like, please, madam, you cannot pay me. It's not that I don't like money. As long as I'm doing it for the children, let's let it go. Yeah. So
right.
there you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, I've learned a lot also. And I'm going to go to um, Doctor. Sorry, I was putting out something. I lost my thought process. Doctor,
Yes.
we've had Big Dog, and I'm just like, wow, wow, wow. And I'm wondering, you could make money in other places, another field. So we're coming to you. I know
Okay.
I have quite a number of friends that are vet doctors. I even have some that have relocated because they are more appreciated in developed countries. Why Nigeria? Why did you stay behind? And why are you doing what you're doing?
Okay, thank you very much. First thing is, let me start with this question you just asked now. I get too many people asking me that same question or telling me that same thing, advising me, why don't you just go to Canada or US or one of those places? You know, what you are doing is more valued there. In fact, as a vet doctor, you are paid a handsome salary there. Why don't you just go and everything? But for me, my thought pattern is this. I feel like there are more opportunities here, opportunities in terms of how to really add, let me put it this way, how to really add meaning to lives than out there. It's not like there aren't those opportunities, but there are too many people there already doing a lot of things that are already adding value to lives. So I feel like if you're here, you can add a lot more value than going out there. So for me, I feel it's better to stay here, be here, maybe collaborate with people out there, but on the long run to enjoy the benefits of being in Nigeria and as well give back to Nigeria.
I love that. Give back. You know, every time on Finding Up with Special Needs, we hear what's like give back, passion, you know, things more like, look, we have to solve the problem of our nation. And I want to thank you. You know, if every Sunday I'm on Finding Up with Special Needs, I'm humbled by the mindset of the individuals that I bring on this show. You guys, you are the real MVP, like the very, very, very important people, really giving back, giving back, you know. We keep saying, oh, things are not working, but everybody, there's a brain drain. But you stay back and you stay back not in the money making field, so to say, more like how can we solve a problem? And guess what? You always be relevant. And like I prayed for Beat God, only God will reward you, really. And when God
Amen.
rewards, we know what that means. I'm a living testimony. But let me not go all churchy on you today. Now, veterinary veterinary
Amen.
medicine, is that the word?
Yes, yes, it
Yeah.
is.
There are different things you could have done, you know. Why um animal assisted therapy? What led you to that? You could have said, okay, I just want to sell dogs. I just want to train dogs. For I mean, I have a dog, I'm looking for a trainer and all that. Why did you connect that with children with special needs? And tell us, I want you to tell us why and what animal assisted therapy is in your own language, because what is obtainable in America and Canada and Australia when it comes to an animal assisted therapy is not what it is in Nigeria. And I know you have faced a lot of opposition and all of that, turn down,
True.
rejection, and all that. Why? What had made you stay the course, and why do we need it in Nigeria?
Okay, let me first start with the definition, and then before I go to my own personal story. Animal assisted therapy is basically incorporating animals to helping people. It works for various segments of people, children with people with special needs, people with mental health issues, people even in hospitals, soldiers who return from war and are facing post-traumatic stress disorder. So many segments of people can benefit from from the magic that comes from the interaction with animals. Let me now go to my own story. Personally, the first time I came in contact with someone who had special needs was my nephew, my cousin's son. And he was born very handsome boy, he was growing really well. But then we now discovered as he was growing that he really couldn't, he was a year, 2 years, 3 years, he couldn't talk. He couldn't talk for us to coherently for us to understand what he was saying. Well, he later on died at the age of 9, which was like 2013. But then up till that point also, there was no diagnosis done. But then knowing what I now know, I know that yes, he did have autism, probably high functional autism. But so it was close to when he was like 7 that he now began to be able to say words like mommy, daddy, and a few more words that we could now clearly understand before his demise finally when he was 9 years old. And then I was in vet school. Years later, I First of all, while I was in school, I kept building capacity because I just knew I wanted to, after school, to be able to stay in the world or where I am. Not just, let me put it this way: my family is the typical Nigerian family where it's normal, go to school, graduate, get a job, and then life continues from there. My mindset right from school was go to school, graduate, find how to give back either through entrepreneurship or whatever else it is, and just find a way to be able to build a better place in the entire world. So while I was in school, I was building myself. I was attending courses. I was taking. There was an entrepreneurship club in ABU Zaria where I was at the time. That I was a part of it for many years up till I graduated. Toastmasters International came to ABU Zaria while I was in school. I joined that as well, and I was using that to help build my public speaking skills and a lot of other things that I did. And then I graduated. And one problem I now saw in Nigeria, which I was trying to address at the time, which I was really actively working on, was the fact that I saw that in Nigeria, in the Western world, many breeds of animals. Let me talk especially with dogs because I'm particularly a dog lover. So in the Western world, many breeds of dogs that are very much home or family dogs in Nigeria here are taken to be animals that when people see or hear about them, or you even having them in your house, they feel like you're bringing in a monster. And from my experience in the veterinary world and in as a vet doctor, as a dog trainer, and all of that, it taught me the fact that the problem was not with the dogs, but it was with the way we were handling them, which in the Western world is a concept known as responsible pet ownership. It stems to the fact that I'll give a typical example. It's like saying you buy a Volkswagen, or in the days when we were using manual cars, almost all cars then had the reverse gear when you shift your hand all the way to the right and then you press backwards, and that was the reverse gear. But I think it was the Mercedes then that it was a different thing entirely. If you have to to go to reverse, you have to shift your hand to the left, you press it down, and then you take it forward. And so now for me, like one thing I keep telling people when they are talking about some of those breeds of animals, as saying those dogs and saying they are monsters, they are this, I tell them, if for example you got that other car, the Mercedes, and then you now did what you would do for the other cars, you took it all the way to the right and backwards, and then the car went forward. Is it the fault of the car, or it's the fault of you who was supposed to study about the car before you got the car, but you just got the car and just went ahead and did what you felt anyway? So that was the problem we were addressing at the time. And then I gathered a team of my friends as volunteers. I didn't have a dime to pay them, but we kept working week by week by week. We would meet and we were working day and night to be able to see how we can spread the awareness of responsible pet ownership in Nigeria. We're doing that. Then we were working on a magazine. We were running a school club where we would go to some schools, and then some schools open their doors to us to come talk to their children, neurotypical children, by the way. Go to them and talk to them about pets. We're doing this for free and all of that then. And then I came across a video in that period also, a video of someone in the US called Nathan Selov. And he had a dog, Sylvia. And he made a documentary of his dog or his experience with autism, living with autism, and then how having Sylvia in his life had helped him. And from the documentary, the short story of it is he was diagnosed at age 7 as having autism. His parents kept searching but then high functional autism, Asperger's syndrome. His parents kept searching for options of how to help him. And then one of the options which they now decided to try was animal assisted therapy. And then they signed up to a facility nearby and got him a pet. First of all, before this time, he was beginning to, in his school, suffer because he now found it hard to be able to communicate effectively to his friends or to other people in his class. And children were beginning to bully him a lot. He was beginning to become more of a recluse in school. His grades, which were originally well, were beginning to really go down. So he was suffering academically, he was suffering emotionally, and all of that in school. They would go to public places like Disney World, and you have a temper tantrum. But then his parents now came across the whole animal asset therapy concept, and they got Sylvia. And he now had to start going to school with Sylvia and everything. Long and short, after years later, his grades shot back up. He had a lot more friends in school. Many of them, especially, will come because they want to play with Sylvia and they have to talk to him first and everything. And he now gained a lot more friends through Sylvia. He had a lot more people respect him. He had nobody coming to bully him again. He would now go to public places like Disney World and all of that, and he would not have a temper tantrum. So learning this as a vet, first of all, the fact that I loved dogs and now seeing how dogs could even impact someone's life like this made me really love the concept of it. But then at the time, I felt it was something that was above me. So I saw it, I was like, well, this would be something that would be really cool to have in Nigeria. But I never thought beyond that. And then I had mentors that I normally share progress of my work with and that I meet every now and then to discuss. And one of those days when I met one of my mentors, he said, well, I know you really love dogs. And I know you're really doing a lot to be able to help people and everything, to help people love dogs and treat dogs better. But then in the Western world, one thing that is being explored now, which I think you should also look into, is helping people that are living with autism to be able to live better through this same pet thing that this same love for pet that I'm talking about. At the time, I told him, well, I had seen something like that, but I felt like it was above me. And he told me, why don't you just consider looking into it? That was early 2016. By late 2016, me and my team also started working on it. And at first it was hard because nobody even wanted to listen. And we would go around talking to people, talking to special needs centers. And one of the first centers there that opened their doors to us to even listen and get us to talk to their parents was the Zama Institute in Abuja here, in Nigeria here. And then it was a lovely experience. But then I now discovered at the end of the day, talking to many of them, another issue that came up was many people still feel like animals, especially dogs, dogs that will cause chaos and all of that. So that was another issue we now had to face. But then so far we've been building, and then we came to your place also, and then you also opened up the doors to us and gave us the opportunity to come and even test the potential of this thing and see how it worked. And one thing I loved there, and which I really, was the fact that there were two boys amongst all the children that we opened up, that had the opportunity to meet with our animals then. There were these two boys that I heard from the teachers that they've seen that this is a breakthrough for them. A breakthrough because they are not motivated by anything else, but they saw that these two boys saw the dogs and they lit up, they were so happy and everything. So that has been the journey, and then that is what helped to qualify me for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. That also gave me the opportunity to have a one-on-one with the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, to pitch on a platform that was looking for people that had exceptional ideas to pitch. I pitched it to him. He also loved the idea and everything. And I am currently a student at Oakland University, trying to even learn the concept of it much better to get a deeper understanding into it. So 4 years down the line from meeting my mentor and him telling us about this, we've been working on it, we've been building on it. We are trying to get more people to experience, more special needs children to experience the magic of animal-assisted therapy.
Wow. You know, everything you're saying to me, I'm more like, this is because I believe in evidence and research-based practices. And when I knew we were going to have this show on Sunday, I remember sharing something on my page about a horse that was helping an individual that fell off his wheelchair, and then was able to get the person to get up back. You know, I got a lot of feedback from that, you know, and it was more like a coincidence that we're discussing this today. But a lot of feedback that I got being Nigerians, like, oh, the horse is nice, or what a lovely horse. That was a good thing, you know, humans to copy this more. And the question that came to mind, and that was able to, I was, and with, I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to my friends and followers on my social media platform, but it just opened my eye to the fact that we needed this topic to be discussed on today. Because another question was, do animals have inherent ability to be that nice? Yes or no? I wanted to take the answer. And if no, what are the things that they need to do to be able to do to perform such humanitarian, I would say humanitarian acts, you know? So could you please answer that question?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. The straight answer would be yes. And let me first of all start from my own experience and what I feel built my love for dogs. Going back to when we were children, my dad made sure while we were growing up that there was always at least one dog in our family. And this love that he had for dogs and that he kept having them all around, a friend of his, who incidentally was the first veterinary doctor from my tribe, traveled to the UK then, and then he came back to Nigeria with some trained German Shepherd puppies. And he gave my father one of those puppies. When he gave my father that particular puppy, that dog, we named him Skipper, and Skipper changed our life, our childhood forever. Skipper was a very important part of our childhood, especially because when he came into our lives, he was a dog that could hear everything we said. He was a dog that was very loyal. He was a dog that did everything he could to protect us. And he played with us as children. So as children, me and my siblings would play football all around the house. And Skipper would play football with us. We'll play to him sometimes, and he'll use his head to be kicking it back to us. Our childhood memories are not complete without Skipper as it is. We had a lot of dogs, but Skipper stood out especially. So two experiences also that made Skipper to be special to us, where there was a time when we left the former house where we were, which was a rented apartment, and we moved to our own apartment. It was a long distance, a very long distance. And then normally Skipper, first of all, Skipper at his age came as a dog who does not feed off anywhere else except a particular plate. If the food, no matter how much he loves that food, put it outside that plate, Skipper would not eat it. And then Skipper would also not defecate or mess up the compound. As much as he can, he will do his best to, if he wants to, defecate, to cut. We were buying chain almost every single day. Skipper will cut the chain, scale the fence, no matter how that gate is, scale the gate, go outside, do all that, come back in. So when we moved into our own apartment now, Skipper, by the next day, we couldn't find him. And we now felt, okay, well, maybe he had gone out as usual to defecate, do all of that, and come back. But then, by the next day, we still had not found Skipper. And we were wondering, okay, what happened? A day later, the owner of the other apartment now came to us and was like, what did we do to him? Why did we repay him this way? And we said, well, what happened? He said he went to the house, opened the gate, and he saw our dog, and the dog chased him back into his car, and then he ran. And we're like, oh, we did not even know he even came back there, because it was a long distance. We didn't even figure that he would ever find his way back to that particular house. So my elder brother was now put in the car, went over to the place. We now took Skipper, we brought him back. We talked to him that day. We told him, this is now your house. That is no longer your house. So please do not go back to that house again. And guess what? He never went back again to that house. Another memory again that's very striking and we will never forget. There was a particular madman, so a lunatic in our city then, who was so popular, everybody knew him, who would come up to you, and if he comes to you and tells you in our tribe then, Doko Jewa, which literally means bring the money for your head. If you do not give him any money, he would stone you. And there was a day when a family friend came to visit, and then my mother was to go out with her. Her car was parked outside the compound, and they went out. The woman was trying to open her car for them to go in, and just when she was doing that, this same man, we call him Tichogbu, Teacher Boo walks up to both of them and he's like, Doko Jewa. And then Skipper was tied right in front of the compound. And he saw this man and Skipper was furious. And let me do this in slow motion. Please watch this in slow motion. And Skipper breaks the chain. And in a few seconds, Skipper is on top of the fence. And the man standing sees, as in Skipper is already diving and is on top of the gate, sorry. And the man looks up and sees Skipper coming. Now, that's when I knew that he wasn't so complete a lunatic. He still had some sense in him because the house then was on a slope. He looked up and discovered he couldn't run up because it would be hard. He discovered he couldn't run down because he could tumble. What he decided to do was to run straight opposite the compound. And in running there was a bush just after. There was our gate, there was the road, then there was bush. He ran straight into the bush and Skipper followed him till he came to a fence and he fell down. And Skipper was also trained to not bite. But then he would use his hand to scratch you if need be. So Skipper ran there, he fell to the floor, and then Skipper scratched him, and Skipper returned back home. From that day forward, if that man ever saw us anywhere, if he saw anybody, he knew everybody in our compound. If he saw anyone in that compound anywhere else in the town, we would even be the ones to insult him or to play with him or anything. He would never talk back to us. He would just walk away. But he would go to other people and torment them, taunt them, and do everything he would normally do. That, for me, just built the love for dogs growing up.
Oh my God, Dr. Seno, I would like to crack a joke here.
Okay.
Would you say that Skipper actually cured? But part of the benefits of having a dog is that it can actually cure you of whatever it is. Because I believe that man got back to his senses because of Skipper. But that's on the lighter note, you know. But the truth is that we all have our preference. Some people just don't like dogs, you know, and some people do. But we're talking about how the benefits of dogs, you know. So basically, you've been able to tell us from your own experience the benefits, you know. I've always known that, right? Like I was speaking to you earlier on when I was much younger. I watched a movie that was called Max. That's Max, Man's Best Friend. And this dog was truly, truly protective of his owner, just the way your dog was protective of you. But you know, there are several kinds of dogs. Are all dogs that we can use for animal assisted therapy? Yes or no?
It's both yes and no. I say it's both yes and no because, yes, because any dog can be trained to, but no, because some breeds have more potential to be easily trained to. And beyond just dogs, there are so many other animals that could do really, really well with animal assisted therapy. So it's more dependent now on the species of animal that the child, for example, or the person with the special needs may have a liking for. So horses, the most popular animals or the more popular animals that are used are dogs and horses. But then cats, chicken, rabbits, dolphins, and a whole lot of other animals are used for animal assisted therapy. And the underlying factor is the animal many times has to be trained and has to be well socialized.
I was going to ask that question because I was going to say your own story is different. You're quite comfortable with dog. Your family is comfortable with it. Your father had a friend who was so it's more like it was natural. But then towards the end of the story, you told us said it was trained not to bite. So we need to identify the fact that it needs to be trained. So thank you. I have so many questions for you. Like a lot of people have been asking me, and I'm like, don't worry, bring it on today. Actually, the question is already out for you, but I want you to catch your breath. How much you test it? Just give me a minute to take some water.
No problem.
Thank you. So, the Bit God, we'll go for a short break pretty soon. Yes. I want Dr. Seno to catch his breath because I always say to people, on Finding Up with Special, there's so much to learn. Even the little things that seem like we're gisting, there's so much to learn. I like the fact that you highlighted that when we embraced as animal assisted therapy at the cadet academy, we realized that some kids, it was more like a motivation for them. So it can be used in different ways, support them in any way. And for us, those kids, I mean, I remember their parents saying, look, we need to get them animals because our children will not stop. They're looking forward to when Dr. Sunday is coming with the dogs. We read to the dogs and all of that. We'll go into some of those details with time. But I need us to take a break, really. I'm almost joking because this just is getting very hot right now. We'll take a 1 minute break and then we'll come back and I'll bring questions to Beat God and then we'll come back to you. So please stay seated. Don't go anywhere. Just grab a cup of water, drink, right, and then we'll be back. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're a bit relaxed and you've gotten some fresh air and water to drink. I did that. Thank you so much, Dr. Seno, for shedding more light on helping us to relate the practicality of animal-assisted therapy, particularly in this part of the world, because I know that the journey, I remember when I first met you, it wasn't looking like people were being receptive towards what you're saying, but like I said to you that I know when I did my training in the US, I saw several animals being used for individuals with disability and how helpful it was to them. And I know that we'll get there in Nigeria. Please keep doing what you're doing. Do not give up.
Thank you very much.
Big God, over to you. You're muted. I need you to mute yourself so we can hear you. Big God, are you there? Hello, Big God. Okay, while we wait for Big God, Dr. Seno, there are questions coming already for you. So the first question for you says, Dr. Sunday, please, what is the difference between animal-assisted activities and animal-assisted therapy?
Okay. The good part of the story is this is the reason why I would say I'm now a student with Oakland University. I'm trying to be able to learn to be sure that I get the concept and all of these things better and be able to get a deeper understanding of these things. So from my current understanding of the topic, animal-assisted activities is more of a broader topic to cover everything that has to do with being able to use an animal to help or being able to incorporate. That's another thing also I'm learning now, that we don't use the term, there's nothing like use animal, but it's more of incorporating an animal. So animal-assisted activities is where you incorporate animals in the help of people who that relationship may be of benefit to. But then, so it could be taking an animal to a place with a lot of people, it could be hospital, it could be, and you may not necessarily be measuring anything or trying to really build something, in the sense that you may probably just be trying to get the people to benefit from this relationship. I'll give an example. I can't remember when that happened again, but there was this not hurricane now, there was an earthquake. I can't remember what country then, that devastated an entire community, and then people that were there, there were a lot of people there that were traumatized, and then a service dog was taken to the place there to just help people relax, to just help people de-stress. That, for example, so there's nothing, they're not really measuring anything, but it's just the fact they're just helping people to de-stress or people to relax and all of that. But animal assisted therapy has like a specific goal from start. You're trying to measure something, and it has to be a trained animal that is trained enough to be able to work in that capacity. So where like animal assisted activities covers the entire topic of animal assisted therapy, animal assisted interventions and all that, you must not be measuring anything, and the animal must not be intensely trained, but it could just be an animal that is well socialized and able to just interact with people on a general level, and people interact back, and is able to just give love to people.
Interesting. I'm also learning because I remember when I met you. Welcome back, Victor. We had questions for you. You were, are you back? Can we hear you? Say hello to us so we know you're here with us. Technology. Can you hear us,
Hello, can you
Victor?
hear me?
Yeah, great. We
Yes.
can hear you.
I can hear you
Yeah,
clearly.
fantastic. So let me just round up what we're discussing with Dr. Seno. And then I call him Dr. Seno, Dr. Sunday, just now talking.
No problem. No problem at all.
So it's still Dr. Sunday, don't mind me. So and for me right now it just clicked because I remember when we met and we're talking about animal assisted therapy and what we could do. And I said that I remember my experience with our children, and this actually had helped me to be able to understand the difference with what I experienced with the children. So we had some children who had reading challenges, and in the school I was teaching, we had parents who had dogs in the school. So that I think now I'll be able to tell the difference between animal assisted therapy and animal assisted activities. And tell me if I'm wrong, just for the benefit of those who are listening, because I just got schooled right now from what you said to us. I remember that we had those parents who bring in the dogs, as many as 6 to 8 dogs, and each classes with children with reading challenges would have been practicing a particular book they're going to read for the week. And then once it's time, we know the schedule, the parents will be in the library with their dogs, and each child had preferences for the kind of dog they like. So they'll pick that dog and read to the child. So that was a kind of way that we're using to improve. It was like a motivation to the children where they know that I'm going to read to Skippy or Simba by Wednesday. So whatever book they choose to, they're keen on learning to get the words called properly and really ability to read fluently, so that the child can go to the dog, the judge are going to read that dog and read to the dog, And when they read, they try to use their comprehension ability to be able to say, this is what the story is all about. Oh, Skippy, do you understand that? I know somebody like the dog actually relating with them. But from what you're saying to me now, I think those are more of animal activities as opposed to the therapy itself. Am I right or wrong, Dr. Seno?
Yes, you're right. Like I said, I'm still trying to also get the concepts finally.
I'm going to also do some reading, but what you said to me, just like, okay, this dog were not trained for these children, but it was more like a motivation. So those activities that could also help children with special needs to get more independence in whatever challenge they're going through, particularly those children with reading challenges. Thank you. Now, thank God, I had questions for you, and the question is,
yes,
I know that different expression of art. There's performing art, there's I don't know much about that, but I know that different expression. There's theater art, that's performing art. What else we have? Please, you school out on that. But when you do that, I see a lot of things you use: shell, shoes, paper, and all of that. I want you to be able to tell us the kind of art that are available and the benefits. So when you're using shell, what are you trying to achieve with children with special? Is it a sensory thing? Is it a motor issue? I want you to be able to explain that to us so that people that are listening will understand the benefit of art for children with special needs and why you use different materials and what is going through your mind when you're doing that. Because I know that you said when you went to that school, you thought, I can't, when you went to that orphanage, these children will not benefit from science, from government and all of that, but you need to find out what they needed, and then you went to art and it had really worked for them.
Government,
but
history.
I see that you use different materials. Why do you use it, and what are the benefits based on sensory, gross motor, fine motor, and all of that? And then even when you do perform, when you have them, when you sew and then they do the fashion parade, what are the benefits, specific benefits, and the tools that you use?
Okay. Yes. Basically, I incorporate all forms of art, from the visual to the theater art, name it. And then why I use why I use anything at my disposal is I try to lay my hands on things the children can easily identify, and then things the parents can also easily afford. So you see me working with spoons, with seashells, with flowers, wood. I come up with things that could easily be identified by the children, things that they see tomorrow and they be able to say, okay, this is this. I know this. I've been seeing it all along. Maybe not knowing the name, but you get them to understand the concept of how it's being used. And then, like what I tell my children is, you can make art from anything. You mustn't be the Michelangelo and the big artists to do painting and all that. To an extent that I have some of my children that they paint with balloon on cardboard on cardboard and then on canvas. We use balloons to paint. I came up with that concept with one of my children with cerebral palsy. He finds it difficult to hold a painting brush. It's difficult for him to hold anything. So what I do is I blow a balloon and tie it to his hands. I tie the balloon to his hands, and
Wow.
then I just put paint.
Wow.
I just put paint on cardboard. So the balloon is in his hands. All he has to do is splash the paint all over, and you'll be so amazed. Something beautiful comes out. So I always tell them
True.
you could make art from anything. Yes.
Anything.
So that way I
Anything.
come up with a lot of things using tires. We use tires for furnitures. We use cow horns. We do a lot of stuff. Whatever it is, we can lay our hands on. Sometimes these children are the ones that come with these things and say, I want to make art with this. I have no choice. I have to start cracking my brain. Okay, what do we do with this? And at the same time, I'm telling the child, so you to crack brain. Both of us have to come up with something. We both
Wow.
we both have to come up with something to do with what you have brought. So that's what led me into laying my hands on anything you put in front of me. I'll make art from it. And my children have gotten the same. Like the beads, for example. If they are stringing beads, most of the kids, the ones, especially the ones with autism, most times they are not, don't pay attention. But there's no way you can string a bead without paying attention. You have to pay attention
Yes.
because the holes are very
Yes.
tiny. So that way, so the child will be forced to pay attention. So he or she forgets any other thing. The whole attention, the whole interest, everything is focused on getting that string into the bead. And so by the time, because bead stringing is repetitive, you pick up a bead, you
Mm-hmm.
string it, you pick up another
Over
bead,
and
you
over
string it.
again.
So before
Yes.
you know what, over and over again. So before you know what is happening, the
Wow.
child doesn't pay attention. Even you sitting beside him, he or her attention is now focused on the beats. And then it also helps them. The aspect comes with helping them recognize colors. It's
Hmm.
easy to teach them colors because
Hmm.
normally in school growing up they just say this is red, this is blue, this is purple. No, but with them they use
I
purple to paint something. They use purple to
wow.
paint, and after the paint work, they know that what they did without painting was purple. They can tell you, I used purple, I used red. So it's easy for them to remember because they love
Hmm.
what they are doing, they're enjoying what they are doing. Easy for them
Hmm.
to remember the colors they use. So they see those same colors anywhere, they'll pick it. They'll pick it. And then getting your goals, helping them build their speech and language, they build it. It's easy because while they are walking, you're having a conversation. While they are walking, you're having a conversation, you're talking, the child is expressing himself. Sometimes they get angry at a certain color, they don't want to touch that color anymore, and you're like, okay, what's the next color you want? And they tell you they want something else. So when the child is angry, sometimes they relate their mood to colors. I have one of my child that does that. When she's so happy, she wants to touch the whole yellow. She's ready to empty a whole can of yellow if she's so happy. So when she's happy, we'll hide the yellow from her, so that so
Wow.
and then when she's angry, the next thing she wants to do is to touch all she sees, right? The next thing she wants to do is to touch The minute she takes red or black, I know she's angry. I know something is upsetting her. Once she comes to class and she's walking with red and black, I just know there's a problem somewhere, you know. And
Oh,
then
wow.
we get talking. What's happening? Anita, what's going on? Anita, what's going on? She just keeps painting, keeps painting. She doesn't want to talk. The minute you keep talking to her, she's painting, adding more color, and she's not really concentrated on her work. But by the time you know it, she gets
Therapeutic.
able to
Wow.
get her talking. She stammers, she stutters a lot. So, but when
Hmm.
you in, she tells you what exactly is wrong with her. It takes time, but she explains what's wrong with her, and then you get it. So in that aspect too, art helps build adult children interaction.
Hmm.
It helps build the
Wow.
interaction. It helps you build interaction.
Wow.
So yes, true that because they're working on something they like. When he or she loves, they talk more. They're talking, and children are not like adults. They easily explain what is wrong, or they easily talk to you, or sometimes they even tell you what is wrong with you without knowing it. Like I have one of my children at the Down syndrome center, at Mrs. Modi's place. I don't think anybody in the whole world has received as much hug I have received from that child. She can hug you from earth to heaven and back. You know, just because artwork is in front of her. She gives so amazing. She hugs you. You're going, she hugs you. You come in, she hugs you. If she goes to the washroom, comes back, she will hug you. She's hugging everybody, and so that's the beauty of art. It brings out the sparkle in the children. It helps them. So and it builds their confidence. It builds their confidence because
Hmm.
you are allowing them decide on their own.
Express
You
themselves.
just a little
Yes.
push. You don't
Yes.
yeah, you don't make it like it is. You just like, "Okay, what would you want to do with that color?" And she's like, okay, give me a minute. He or she says, give me a minute, and they think, and they just start working. So tomorrow they might not even need you to ask them what they should do with the color. They're confident enough what they can do with the color. They do it. And they come to show you when next time in their school or in their centers, they just show me, I did this yesterday. I did this yesterday. I'm like, oh, okay, you don't even need me anymore. So it helps build their confidence seriously. And then it's a major way to help them build exploration.
Hmm.
Helps them explore. A child picks up a broom. He wants to impress you, so he builds something with a broom. He sees a can of this, a can of that, a brush, whatever. So they're exploring even without you being around because they want to impress the art teacher when next he comes. They begin to explore on things they want to show me that they have done without me being present. So that alone, uh, like I keep telling people that, well, you people think that I help these children, but I always tell them that they're making a mistake because the children are the ones that have helped me. So they do everything. They made me become an artist, and made me become a great artist. They made me meet
Hmm.
people from all over the world. It's because of the children I met you and Dr. Sunday, isn't it? If not for the children, I don't think I would have met either of you.
True. True.
Yeah,
Wow.
so once the children,
Wow.
their confidence is built. They have increased heightened attention. They have it so much, and it gives me so much joy to be part of it. To be able to see
Wow.
something grow from nothing and watch it blossom. So things like that, I think a lot of parents should pay more attention to. Art. I call it art in medicine. That's what I tell them. I said
Wow.
there's art in
Wow.
medicine. You help them because for
Wow.
for someone to be an artist, or not even being an artist, for you to do anything in life, you have to use your imagination. It's a must. For you to
Imagination.
do anything, yes, you have to use your imagination to do anything that involves art, anything at all that involves art. You know, even the animal therapy, it involves art because you
Mm-hmm.
have to train a dog, teach a dog how to sit. You have to teach a dog how to jump over something. You teach a dog how not to bite. You teach a dog how to dance. It involves art. And so for you to do all that, you have to use your imagination. you need your imagination. It has to work. Your imagination has to work. So in the process of acting
True.
your imagination, the child's brain is
True.
working. It goes on. It has to work. That way, you're helping the child use his or her imagination, so it works. He wants to put yellow on blue. He thinks about it like these colors wouldn't go, and they say, "No, I don't want blue. Give me green. I want to put green on white." And so the imagination of the child is
Mhm.
working, and then you're seeing things the kid can't do. I have this child. I have this child at the Patrick's speech. I have this child at Patrick's. He doesn't like joining us, but the easiest way I got his attention, I just went in front of him and dropped four different colors of beads, bags of beads. I just dropped them in his front and I walked away. I just left him. I also ignored him since he was ignoring me. I just put those beads in his front and I walked away. In less than 20 minutes, I came. He was already playing with the beads. He was already playing with the beat. He came to where I was and pulled me and gave me one bag of beads. Gave me the string, telling me, signaling to me that how would he string the beads? So I gave him some strings and put some beads in a bowl, and he started stringing. So you unconsciously watch them fall in love with colors, you know, and they fall in love with what they do, and then they begin like the girl that uses yellow when she's very happy and paints with black and red when she's not happy. So it helps you notice their mood change easily. It helps you notice their mood change, and so it does that. And
So
it's
so
a very
much, so
beautiful
much,
thing because
so much
when you
to
can help the
learn.
child open up, so
True.
much to learn.
My note is
It is so
full.
much to
Like
learn.
at while you were speaking, and then to quickly do a research because I'm like, I like the fact that on finding up with special needs, we break it down. The question I asked you, you went over and beyond, and for me, you actually answered everything based on practicality. I remember when you said a child with CP couldn't
Yes.
hold the brush and you had to tie the balloon. I'm like, what creativity? Ordinarily, it doesn't. His hand cannot hold the
Of
brush, so we
course.
can't include him. So what I hear you speak, what you're saying to us, every one of us, whether we are into art or not, is creativity is key in working with children with special needs. Think of
Yes.
alternative ways that you
Yes.
can ensure that this child can
Yes.
partake in whatever it or our neurotypical counterpart or mates or children without disability are doing.
Yeah.
It is possible. That just hit me immediately and said, wow, creativity in everything we do. Some people will say, oh, we
In
can't take these
everything.
children in our school. We don't know how to help them. Bitcoin, I just said it. Art is therapeutic for them. You could think of, okay, the only time we can have them on is doing art and craft. And don't be rigid. Look at what works. You talk about the child with fine motor issues,
No, don't.
focusing, having able to pull that string
Yes.
into the beat.
Yes.
Also there are a lot of benefits. It just involves us thinking. And I like when you were speaking, I just said 21st century skills, flexibility. It doesn't have to be the way you want it. Because they can teach us, they can learn from us, pay attention. Look at that child that expresses its emotion through colors. When she's happy, you can tell because she picks up a yellow color. When she's unhappy, you can tell. So it's
Colors.
not about you didn't study art like you said in school,
Yes.
but you paid attention, you're willing to be flexible. You thought critically about what will help the child, being creative. And I'm like, when I think about that, creativity, flexibility, innovation, and all of these are skills they use art to communicate with you, 21st century skills. So anything is possible. We just have to pay attention. If a child cannot learn the way we teach, remember that
Yes.
saying, then we must be able to teach the way they learn. And also do everything you've said. I look at the flexibility, critical thinking, creativity, communication, and all that you said to us, 21st century skills. Big God, thank you so much for sharing yourself, giving yourself to us. Thank you so much. Now, Dr. Sunday, I'm
Thank
coming
you.
to you. I wrote down your question so I don't forget
Okay.
while you were speaking. Because one thing I like about finding out with questions, as you guys are speaking, I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. That could be a good question to ask. And then when you were speaking, actually, it was actually Bitcoin that said something about um, volunteering. I think I wrote that down about volunteering. And you said that Mr. Conde is everybody's mom. Like when you mentioned autism, you mentioned Mr. Konde, and you said she was trying to pay you, for what you do. And you went on saying, no, that would defeat the purpose of mentorship. And for me, I'm sorry, not mentorship, purpose of volunteering. And I'm bringing this question to you, Dr. Seno, because I know you are a Mandela, what's that word again? Fellowship.
Mandela Washington Fellow.
Washington Fellowship, yeah. I keep saying Mandela Fellow. Yeah, a Mandela Washington Fellow. And I know because I've related with most of you that have benefited from that program, and I see that flexibility in you, and I know you know the power of volunteering, because this comes up a lot in this field. How can I volunteer? How can I volunteer? And what Big God said, because also in finding opportunity, there are some skills, some professional skills that are trying to empower our listeners with that. Look, it's not all about money. It's not all about what is in it for me. It's about you giving of yourself, and volunteering is one of it. What do you think are the principle of volunteering? Because I know I'm guessing it might have been one of the things that some of the skills you were taught while you were in that Mandela Washington Fellowship. Could you just give us highlights for people that are listening thinking, you mean they won't pay me? You mean what's the benefit of volunteering? What are the things that you benefit from, that could benefit volunteers, as opposed to looking at what is the need for me? And I wanted to relate it with this, what we're talking about, special needs art and animal assisted therapy. Thank you.
Okay, let me start this way. First of all, talking about our own project, the animal assisted therapy work. I keep saying it's something that since 2016 that we started that specifically till this moment, it has not paid us a dime. But at the same time, it has really helped us to impact lives as much as we can. It has also given us platform, part of it being the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And even before the Animal Assisted Therapy Project, what we were also doing, talking to children and about responsible by ownership and all of that, was also based on volunteering. It was also a volunteering work. So one thing I would want people to know is, well, first of all, I see that the average mentality of many young people is, yes, I'm done with school. The next thing I need to do is be making money. You may find if you will get a job and a really good one at that, then it works really well. But if not, one thing to look into many times could be, what are you passionate about? If you can find what you are passionate about, then why don't you walk up to an organization that does something that in that direction, or come up with a project in that direction, whichever of the two, and then either start, if it's a personal project, start by going out there and finding every possible way to do it for free, or find an organization that does that and then meet them and say, okay, well, can I come be with you, do this. I'm really passionate about this. I have a background in this. If you have any knowledge already that is linked to that, I have a background in this, and I would really love to be able to get to do it and all. So can I work for free with your organization and help out in whichever way you think is possible, since I know that you are also working in an area directed to what I do. Many times, you more often than not would be allowed into the organization because, well, no one, you're not a liability in the sense that they don't have to think about another person to pay. But while you're doing that, you could build experience, build your CV, and then you may probably even eventually get an opening in that particular organization based on what they've seen you do to come in, or the experience you've built there could be what you could take somewhere else to also start up that work. So with our own work, and yes, with the Mandela Washington Fellowship let me just talk a little bit about it. It was instituted by President Obama while he was in office through a body called YALI, Young African Leaders Initiative. And he felt, first of all, he himself, having an African background, looked back and felt that there were so many people in Africa who are doing remarkable things, who, if they are given a greater platform, will be able to do much better and impact more lives. So he created YALI. And the flagship program that YALI has is the Mandela Washington Fellowship. They also have the regional leadership centers and a whole lot of other programs that yearly runs. But then the Mandela Washington Fellowship every year selects people who are change makers in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, takes them to the United States, and then they now get to put them in different institutions, and they build capacity in them. They give them the opportunity to have the American experience. They connect them to organizations in the US that are linked to the work they do to mentor them while they are there, and a whole lot of other, and all of those. So for me, I was selected based on the work that we've been doing. Like I said, it's the work that we've been doing and we have not gotten a dime for. But that's also what gave me the platform. That's what got me selected. In fact, in Nigeria, there were 11,000 applications that year that I got in 2019. But then only 56 of us were selected from 11,000 applications.
Wow.
And then, so there were 56 of us Nigerians, very competitive. So we're 56 Nigerians, and in all, in my cohort, were 700 Africans from sub-Saharan Africa. So we all went to different institutions and everything. And even while we were there, we still did see volunteering in action. And we discovered that in the US, many people, if the old, the young, it's something that many people have taken as a culture. So there many people would go to organizations either to just go volunteer and help out, or will go to organizations that are doing things and just give them money or whatever other support to be able to help the work that they do. So while we were there, we also made to go on three such volunteering campaigns as a group, all of us that came from Africa there. So like one of them, we went to what they call the Miracle League in Pennsylvania, where children with special needs come and they are given the opportunity. Baseball is one game that is major in the US. Mm-hmm. So children with special needs are given the opportunity to come and enjoy a game of baseball. And then we would serve as like their partners. We will be paired with children with special needs, help them play the game. We are taught, I never even knew how to play the game, but we're now taught how to play the game, and then you are paired with the child and you help the child to be able to, and you see some of the children so happy that they can't even play. There was this boy, Dante, who was in a wheelchair, who couldn't even, Dante enjoyed, yes, he wasn't the one who physically had to do it. We had to help hold his hand, help play and everything. And Dante was so happy. You could see him just glowing from the beginning to the end of every time he came on the field. And so it's a culture out there. But in Nigeria, many people just believe in go out there, get money, go out there, make money. But sometimes you also have to get exposure. You also have to be able to get to build experience before you can eventually make money.
Wow. Another question for you, Doctor. Because on Finding Out with Special Needs, it's all has to do with special needs and disability. But then we talk about issues like mentorship, volunteering, skills that will take you beyond what you already know. Yes, you have what it takes, but what will make you stand out? And I've known you for how many years now? And each time we speak, I know that recently, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, on your social media page, you talked about a grant that was awarded to you. And one thing I liked about that award, and this is also about volunteering too, and I wanted to share that experience with you. One thing, when I read the letter that was given to you, it wasn't about you still, Dr. Seno, and it was more about that child with special needs who needed help, and it's from a post-economic background, and you need to present your service to that organization to say, look, I can do this with this child, but we need so and so amount. Can you please share such idea with us? And congratulations on that too.
Thank you very much. Okay, so it's actually a university in the US, Oakland University, and I wanted to come in for the animal assisted therapy course. I've wanted to take a course on that for years, but many times funding is a challenge. So like, going back again to what I was saying of the fact that this is work that I've been doing for years without being paid for, but this is work that I've been doing for years that I've spent money, I've spent time, I've gathered people together who volunteered one way or the other without paying them, because I also didn't have the funds to pay them, but we all just worked together to be able to find a way to do it. So the university had a scholarship opportunity that they put out there. You would have to apply for it and then say what you already do, say how even learning the program will be something that would help you, and then they could now get to reward you for that. but with the scholarship. So I applied for it. I had been in touch with the university back and forth, telling them I really want to do this course, but I do not have the funds to do it at this time. And so I came up, I saw the scholarship opportunity and I applied. And I was given a 1 week deadline. In fact, I actually saw the scholarship when it had already expired. The application had already expired when I saw it. And I wrote to the university and I told them, well, I really want to do this course, but I do not have the money. And then I just saw this scholarship opportunity that's expired. And I don't know if there's any other way that you guys could help me to be able to. And they said, okay, well, for you, we will give a special concession. You have 1 week from today, from the day we had that mail, to be able to, it had expired a day before. And so they now said, okay, we'll give you 1 week extension from today to get to write in and tell us your story. And if you feel your story is worthy, then we will award you with the scholarship. I saw the mail and I did not have to think about 1 week. I sat down and wrote everything I had to write immediately on the spot. And I sent in immediately. In fact, I sat up, I saw the mail probably 10 p.m. that night. And I stayed up till 1, 2 a.m. that night, Nigerian time, working on it to make sure I submit my application. So I wrote my story. I wrote everything that I had done. I wrote my interests. I wrote how I feel this course would really be able to help in my work and all of that. And I submitted. And then, voila, I saw a mail back from them saying that they looked through and then they felt like, yes, with the work that I do and everything that I've said really makes sense and it's quite exceptional. And so they are offering me the award for the scholarship, which is a part scholarship anyway. And then but then I felt so elated. At least with that, I'm now able to start the course. And it's something that I've looked forward to for years and I've really wanted to do, but I've not had the funding to be able to do. So now I've started the course and then we're running the course together and all of that put together.
Great. Thank you for sharing your story. I think I got it all mixed up because I was thinking that when I saw that letter, it said the name of the students that will be benefiting. So I thought the letter was directed to you because I know that there's some organizations that do that. Like the child might be from a poor socioeconomic background. We're willing to sponsor that child as long as the child will access the benefit from whatever you're doing. But even if it's the other way around, it shows that you have a heart for these children and you're looking for ways. You're not just going through, because we always say knowledge is important. So, and I'm glad that I think it's just the spirit of this show. We bear it as it is. I'm glad that you said when someone asked you that question, look, I'm not yet there. I know what I want. I'm still learning because knowledge, passion is good, but knowledge will take you further than passion. So it's not enough to say, oh, I love dogs, I know about this, but you need to acquire that knowledge to be able to help the children. So either way, I'm super proud of you. Thank you for what you're doing in helping our children with disabilities.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Yes, well, it's actually named the Sydney, it's named Sydney Zaleski Award. And yes, it's been awarded, I don't know, I think Sydney Zaleski was somebody that the university knew, either maybe as a special needs person, but then that they may have lost, and then that was something that they now felt was a way for them to be able to give back in honor of that particular person, Sydney Zaleski. So they call it the Sydney Zaleski Award. So I applied for it and then I got in. So I'm now the 2020 recipient of the Sydney Zaleski Award.
Congratulations. And I know there are a lot of young people who are listening, who are watching, thinking, oh, what can I do? How can I be of help? And I know they will want to reach out to you. I say this every time on the show. We're going to, I would appreciate it. Yes, if I can reach out to you, I'm sure your answer will be yes, because I know I had that discussion with you, so that you can put them through, because there's nothing as good as holding the next person's hands. You know, for me, success without a successor is failure. So I know some people have questions. How did you get about doing that? What did you do differently? But I know also, because last week when I asked this question of one of our guests, she said, look, it's not about we reaching out to you. So it's not about the mentor reaching out to the mentee. The mentee has to be hungry. What do you really want? So I can know how to help you. But above all, I see this platform as a way to connect people in this field on how we can support one another. So I'll really appreciate it if we can, at some point, if you go back to this video, you find out that a lot of comments are out there. Would appreciate if you can just share your contact with people, participants, so that they can benefit from you. Also to say you hold their hands or mentor them in the best way you can, so that we can multiply. It can be multiplied. Like you alone cannot do, I alone cannot do, but the more the merrier, like you say. So is that a yes from you, Dr. Seme?
Yes, yes, it is. Yes.
I trust it
The
can be
only
a
thing
yes.
though is I don't know. I've been checking around. I can't find where I can post into the general comments. I can only see private chats and I can see the comments.
Yeah. So what we're
So
going to do when we're done, if you go back to any of the platform where this is being viewed, you'll see the comments, just particularly
okay,
on Facebook. You could just go
okay,
there and leave the comments there. People, I mean,
okay,
people are saying a lot of nice things about you. I can see that already. So we appreciate what you're saying. Thank you for the beautiful compliments. You can also then leave your contact so that they can reach you. Thank
okay.
you.
That'll be fine. Thank you.
Bid God, back to you. I don't know where you get that strength from, Mo. I don't know where you get the money from. But the same question goes to you that would we be able to help people who are we have people that are looking forward to connecting with you to see how they can also um do more, like replicate what you're doing. And I'm sure you're more than happy to be a mentor to them. Now, the question I have for you, you have done a lot of work with a lot of children. What would you say are, we have our cultural belief in Nigeria when it comes to children with special needs, and we have the frown, the look, the judgment, and all of that. What has been your experience, when it comes to the society and the work you're doing with children with special needs, even the parents? What has been your experience, and what do you think we can do better? Are you there, Big God?
Okay, I didn't get it clearly, but if I'm not, I could barely hear the questions. I think I caught the last statement of what do you think people can do better.
Okay, so what I said was, the part of the world we're in, there's scaring, there's stigmatization when it comes to special needs, and then there's the way people think. So it's act you're doing, like what is there money in it and all of that. And then I know that people will have, yeah, things that they've said, comment that they've made, and you're thinking you guys have no idea. So what have been your experience? And I know some people have also praised you, encouraged you in working with children, especially with what you're doing. The other time I know you did like a passion parade kind of thing. How we take things that if you're not a doctor or you're not a lawyer, then you're not serious. You know how we do things in Nigeria. What have been your experience, particularly with the teachers that work with these children? When it comes to, I can imagine maybe somebody comes to you, maybe a teacher comes to you with a child who is not able to hold the pen, and you're saying, this one cannot hold the brush, and you're saying, don't worry, we'll figure that out. What have been your experience? Have they been optimistic about these children? If they have been, I wanted to praise them right now. If had some people who the experience had been, no, it's not possible. I just wanted to share your experience with us based on the service providers, the parents, general society, and what we can do to encourage this. What do you think we can do to make it better?
I think I lost you there. Hello.
Hello?
Oh, wow.
Hello?
Dr. Sunday, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you now.
Okay. I think we'll. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. So it's the line is kind of shaky, unstable. So I'm only being able to get bits and pieces. You know, uh,
That's fine.
but if I'm not mistaken, I think your question was about what can people do better
What has been the
to help
perception
children
of
with
people when it
special
comes to
needs.
arts and children with special needs, and what can we do better so that it's more accepted?
To little issues. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm trying to get a hang of this. Okay, let me just
That's
maybe talk back to what I heard, then you could still
that's fine.
put me in the
That's
clear
fine.
later. But I think mm, people do not rely on art. Mostly parents with children with disabilities, they've not um, they've not been able to grasp the power of art, and I think they should put more attention, pay more attention, and then it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't need to get all the whole expensive materials before you can start teaching your child through art. I think all you have to do is just be creative and let your imagination let your imagination lead. Like there's something I saw. Your daughter was having this trophy today. She said, "Let your dreams lead the way. Let your dreams lead you. They know the way." I saw your daughter having that
Yes, I
trophy.
love that.
I think it's
I love quotes. It encourages me.
she had this
Yes,
pillow that
absolutely. And
it
that
was
captures
written,
what.
follow your
Yes, yes. It says. I think I actually have it here. So it says, "Follow your dream.
They know the
Follow
way.
your dream. They know the way." So that answers your question. Thank you.
exactly.
Thank you so much. I think yeah. So yes, I think that's a perfect answer for that question. Everyone, there's always a way. Follow it, listen, it will lead you somewhere. And that just for me, I never even knew that was going to be your conclusion. It's just perfect for that. Teachers, parents, let's pay attention. Whatever that child loves to do, let's bring out the best in the child, irrespective of whether it looks like it's a
Yeah,
lucrative one or the one is a raining thing. No, every person is unique. Let's embrace whatever pathway that child is showing you. There's something the child is going to make out of it. Thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful summarization of
yes.
the way you answered the question. I really appreciate that. The same question back to you, to Dr. Seno. I know I mean, I remember the first day we met, I could see that passion. There's something I could like, I understand, I feel you. I feel you, How had it been in the last 4 years or thereabout that we met? How has it been? Reception, how has the receptivity been to you based on animal assisted therapy? And what can we do better?
Okay, it's been very challenging because first of all, many people are like, "What exactly are you talking about?" And then when you're talking about, especially when you're talking about having dogs as a part of, and people are averse to dogs, and they're like, "No, dog, this," and they keep telling you of how dogs have done this, dogs have done that, and everything. So the first challenge that we have in Africa or in Nigeria would be, first of all, having to be able to treat animals, not just dogs, horses, to treat
Yes,
animals.
all right.
Because if we treat them rightly, then they can now give their best also to us.
True.
So the first thing is us being able to show that love and compassion for animals before their own innate capability to love us back, protect us, and everything, before they can now do that for us in return. So that's the first thing. So the perception of animals that we have in Nigeria needs to change. That's one thing I've seen, that for animal assisted therapy to thrive in Nigeria and maybe in some other parts of Africa, that first of all must be done. So we're still pushing. That's why the initial project we had that we're pushing for to spread the awareness of of responsible pet ownership is something that we are still doing till today, because we feel without that, this other one cannot thrive. So that's one, and then people accepting it and people even understanding, opening up to be able to understand what it means, and opening up to be able to allow their children to be able to explore and find this opportunity or try these opportunities out is another thing. In some of the special needs centers that I've gone, I see sometimes parents are first of all averse to animals, maybe for personal reasons or religious reasons or
Religious
whatever
reasons,
other
yes.
reasons and stuff. So yes, the good part of it is various animals can be used. So if you are averse to this particular animal and you feel your child can work with another type of animal, then if you open up to it and you check and discover that yes, your child could benefit from a relationship with this other animal as opposed to this, then we can now maybe look for how to start working to help to see how we can get an animal, that species, trained for you, and then that could then be what works. So these are some of the challenges that we've had to face over the years. And so we had to also do a massive campaign to get people to even know what this is, to get people to listen and even open their minds to the understanding of it before, and then also trying to get people to understand that yes, if you do this the right way with animals that are trained, then you will have a good experience. So the fact that you may have had one or two experiences that were not really nice before now with animals does not mean that it will be that way continuously.
Wow. I've learned a lot. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunday. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
very
Big
much for
God.
having me.
Yeah, let me get Big God back on. We just lost him is back. Hello, Big God. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Big God?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
You, I was just saying
Yes, I
thank
can. I
you.
can.
Thank you
I can hear
so
you.
much. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Dr. Sunday, for all that you do. From the bottom of my heart, on behalf of every parent, that you've made a difference in the lives of their children. I want to say a very big thank you. Like I said at the beginning, the ultimate rewarder is the one that will reward you. Thank you for all
And
that you do. I hope if we have to call you back on again, you would oblige us your presence and would love to hear from you some of the great things you're doing and how things have changed, for the better. For everyone thinking, how can I be of help in any way? How can I volunteer? How can I be an inclusive school? Consider animal assisted therapy. Consider acts in your school and not the regular. Please contact BitGod, contact Dr. Seno so that we can also help you collaboratively help our children to be included, our children with special needs in your school. This is it from us, from three of us today. We hope you learned something. I don't want to round up without appreciating some people. I don't know if we all know. Let me put that comment out there. For this great man to say thank you to us, that means we are doing something right. You know how this comedian will say you are doing well. I don't know if you all know Professor, I call him Professor Christy Mafidon. He was here and saying this to you, Professor saying this to you. Thank you for sharing such great information. Dr. Somley, you're doing something very good. You're on point. Beat God, you're doing something very good. Thank you so much, sir, Christy Mafidon, for joining us. And thank you for this
Thank you.
encouraging comment. Sharon also said thank you to you. I don't want to say we appreciate you. I mean, just we are not taking this for granted. Thank you so much. Ojema is also saying thank you. Um, who else is saying thank you? Everybody is just saying they're appreciating you. Pamela Mando have been of great help. She has been transcribing all of the nuggets you're throwing out to us. We want to say thank you to you, Pamela. Geranji
Yes.
is saying thank you. She's learning so much and she's loving what she's learning. Thank you for your time. Cassandra Mbata said, dogs are dogs are amazing, and it's important to pick the right breed and personality that matches the child's needs. Beautiful point there.
exactly.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pamela says, so a chicken can be trained. Wow, any animal can be trained. That's a funny one. Thank you, thank you. Wow, wow, wow. So Sunday, this is really exceptional. You are doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing. Um, what else can I see here? So many beautiful comments. So many beautiful comments. You know, it just to show that we really appreciate all that you're doing. Pamela says some strength there. You got the beat God. I don't know that energy for me. I can't even compare really. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, big God, we see your passion. Thank you for all that you do. Everyone is just excited that you came on board today, and we've learned so much from you. So much. Everyone is saying thank you. They're clapping for you. We truly, truly appreciate you. Until we come your way next time, I want to say it is bye bye from Dr. Sunday and my humble self, and I put myself in the middle as the only lady and big God. We truly appreciate your time. I want to
Thank
say
you very
thank you
much
to
for
you
having
all.
us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good one,
Thank
everybody. A blessed week ahead of
Thanks.
you. Bye
You
bye.
too.
And you are
Bye.
doing a very good job too. Wow.